What's going on, guys? Avatarmanz here, and I'm doing a replay analysis for my friend Kyler. Kyler is a Diamond 1 level player currently, and he's only been playing for about 5 months now. So I thought this would be a good opportunity to go over a couple different replays. I pulled these 3 replays from ballchasing.com, and I wanted to showcase replays from a wide range of skill levels. So the first replay we're going to look at is this one in the middle here. This was a solo queue cash threes match, so this should be closer to his normal diamond level rank. The second replay we're going to go over is the bottom one. This one was one that we played when we played with his brother, and that should be closer to a champ to higher level champ level gameplay. And then the top one here should be one that we played with our friend Caution, and that should be a champ 3 to GC level game. So I thought that would be a good opportunity to cover the different skill levels here and talk about, mistakes and what you can do better, even when you're playing closer to your rank, as well as playing above your rank and seeing what we can do to improve. So without further ado, let's get into the first replay. Good kickoff right off the bat. I like how he flips twice. Misses the boost though. I actually wouldn't mind that after the kickoff, since the ball is basically no longer in his vicinity, that either drop back right away towards net, or if you're going to go for the boost, then just full commit on that decision and take off ball cam right here as you're flipping, so that you know that you need to be tilting to the right, like mid flip, so that you can grab the boost rather than missing it. That's fine. I like how he flips towards it, but yeah, I would have preferred to have him flip, maybe boost into it and then flip, or double jump even, so that you can avoid the demo that's coming in. But even so, we're still in an advantage, and the ball gets hit right to him. That's good. I like the setup for the double tap as well. He was very patient to wait for the bounce, which was really kind of underrated skill, I think, at Diamond. I think most players would still drive at the ball and then try to hit it. But if you keep driving at it and you boost at the ball, you see how you're going to hit it as it's going down right here. You're not going to get a really good touch unless you have a higher level of control. So I think him slowing down here or not boosting throughout it and potentially letting go of the gas helped him. And he waited for the volley. And single jump is really good because then it lets him land sooner. And in order to get the double jump there, or the double tap, I notice his teammate is committing. Welcome to Diamond. But good to go for that. If he recognized that it was a little too hard to go for, then yeah, just grab boost and drop back, obviously. Okay. This is just a nitpick. This is actually fine. There's not much you can do here. He was watching the play with ball cam on, and then it gets hit over his head. This is fine. I would have preferred him to actually cut back across behind here. So I'm going to go into fly view, and we're going to show this. So instead of going this way, because the play is going to be going, from left to right here in this orientation. So Kyler should be basically doing a hard cut 90 left. So in fact, he probably should have grabbed this boost pad and then go behind the play. And you can see that if that happens, if he goes back post, you see how it's a little awkward where he's got to turn into near post. He's got to avoid his teammate, Guy, who is clearing out the ball, because potentially Guy could be hitting it forward right this way, and then Kyler is in the way. So it's important to just stay out of the way and rotate back post. You don't need to always conserve boost and try to, conserve your speed and try to rush ass back, because if Guy misses it, then it's not on you. A lot of times people think that you always have to be going supersonic all the time, and that's just not the case. So in this case, it's more important to just stay out of the way and let the play develop. That way you're not doing this awkward rotation now, because even here, look at this, you still have quite a bit of the net that's open. It would be more beneficial to be in something like this, facing the play. This is not too bad, but you see how when the ball gets hit left like this, you still leave room because you're outside of the net. So like I mentioned before, imagine that same exact scenario where if you rotate back post and you come into net like this, now you're standing right here. Boom, even if this gets hit, you're still in the net. So if you flip left or front flip, you're going to be meeting the ball right here rather than having to flip into it. Now, look, if you flip left into it, you could potentially be own goaling. So it's important to note that that back post rotation would solve all of this. And then even if it does roll up the wall, say this hit when it was hit left goes up the wall, then you can still drive, from out of the net, go up the wall and then hit it out. And then even if you are in the net, all you got to do is just turn around, do a little power slide and then stay again on the back post here. That way you're ready for the incoming touch. At a higher level, this is going to be a shot, but this is good. Maybe potentially creeping up a little bit too much here, but I see that there is a third man in net, so that's not too bad. So we're good here. If you know that your teammate is going to be challenging in the corner, so I'm going to go back to player view here now. So if Kyler knows that his teammate is challenging, it's good to just chill here and not move because he already repositioned. He's no longer facing the play. Even though it might seem like just pumping gas once and turning, it actually makes all the difference in the world because now you're covering a lot less. So you can see how now when the ball gets hit, he's just driving at the play for no reason. Whereas now you're trusting your teammate in back who might not know that you don't have the ball. So it's much better if you just stay back post. I'm going to go back into fly view here. And if you stay here, if you just didn't move, you could still jump, boost, and then go after the play. But because you're driving towards the play, you no longer have that kind of reaction time. Now, in a high level, going for the bump like this is actually a really good strategy, but I don't think that's what's going on. I think in general, for the most part, if you want to be more effective in this scenario, just be relevant because your teammate is probably not going to be ready. Look at where he's facing. He's not facing the play. So if that ball goes over your head and goes into the near post, that's probably going in the net. So it's better to just play the ball in this instance, in my opinion. But really good clear by a teammate, so we'll see how this goes. I'm going to go back to player view and we'll keep going. Yep, good aerial there. Not too bad. Again, diamond, so you got to remember not everything can be perfectly executed. So that was fine. Yep, recognizing there's no emergency. I would say on this, you do have the option to kind of sneak up and go closer to the play because this is actually an opportunity to grab the ball. Because you don't, now Guy knows that he might need to fill in. But this is an opportunity where if you fill in as third man, so I'll let the play go back again. I rewinded a little too much. So if you go up with Alex, you have to recognize that, yes, you are third man, but as Guy is grabbing the back boost, now technically he could be third man. So Guy should be dropping back, and he's third man and can cover like the wide angle around on the opposite side of the field. And then if you cut in towards the play with Alex, whether he hits it off the post or, takes it up the wall or whatever, then you can at least drive up with him. That way you always have two people going with the play. Because right now Alex has nobody, and now you have two people back defending. Now, because of that space, look at this. Now, Tacos could have actually driven and taken ball possession and potentially gotten it over Guy. So in a higher level lobby, that might be the case where the player that might drop back might actually cut in because they recognize that this space is too much, and then all it takes is them to just turn and hit it over. Then Guy is immediately beat, and then now you are left in a 1v1 in a disadvantageous position. So just because of that spacing, because you didn't go up, now this is a little awkward. Now you're forcing Guy to go. Now the spacing is a little awkward. Now we're all stretching. Now you're going at this play when you didn't really want to. Now you're going in a 1v1, so it's not that bad. But you can see how you guys are still on the back foot. Now Guy has no boost. You're going on a play, forcing an aerial, forcing boost usage, and you're not really doing much here. You're just playing defense. Whereas had you played with the play earlier, after Alex hit this, then if you come up and you take it, then you could have the offensive pressure. If you hit this right here, you beat J Cool on the wall, then you might potentially be able to hit this towards the wall, take it, and then force Fox to hit it or get it around him. And then guess what? Now you've got a free net. So it's literally that difference of knowing when to go or not. That is the difference between higher level gameplay. So for all those reasons, it would be better to go with Alex on that play. And this is why having Too much defense can be a bad thing in Rocket League. So I'm going to go back to player view. So after the aerial, now you see how there's two people back. It's a little awkward. You're not sure. Stay ball cam on. It's probably better to, yeah, just rotate back. Let's let two people go. Again, welcome to Diamond. It's not perfect. Do you see how it was actually not that bad? There was Alex and Guy going with the ball. Now, Guy could have passed the ball to Alex. There wasn't really a need to accelerate the play here. So Alex is going to take it up the wall. Fine. They bump into each other. Okay, welcome to Diamond. Now, notice again, same exact scenario, but it doesn't involve Kyler this time. Guy is in perfect position for a pass. He has boost, and all he has to do is just sit here and face this way or face towards the ball. Now look at this. The ball is coming right towards him. Alex is trying to probably shoot or pass. But notice how he would have been in a good position. But because he doesn't and he goes off for the boost, now there's the gap there. Now look at Kyler's going to get beat. Now this is an awkward ball to go for. Potentially at a higher level, Fox is probably just shooting this, to be honest. So again, that spacing is super duper important. And honestly, it's going to be easy for me to point out because I'm a GC level player. But this is something that is probably not going to be ironed out overnight, especially for Kyler if he watches this, but, you know, or for anybody else at the lower ranks. Noticing that space difference is only really going to come with time unless you have really good observational skills and you're able to review replays like this with a higher level friend. So there you go. All right, let's get back to Kyler. Okay, actually not the worst. You're forcing a play for no risk whatsoever. Notice how, again, just a pattern, how there is a rotation towards teammate right here. There is no back post rotation. So you've got Alex as number 1, Guy as number 2, and then Kyler is number 3. Notice how, again, the ball is on this side of the field. You have teammates on this side of the field. Kyler is rotating on this side of the field. So again, for the third time, or second time, really big one, is rotate back post. Just grab this boost pad, and then go back post. It's much cleaner because now even if you have a shot on net, at least Guy can cover this side of the field, the net, and Kyler can cover this side of the net. Now, obviously, this is a great shot, and I don't think that if this was on target, anybody would have been defending it, but still. There you go. See how there's so much time getting all set up. Now, there was a shot going off, rebound, and then the ball is already a quarter way down the field. All because of that awkward, weird rotation. Kyler is just now getting his feet in net and able to push out. All because of that weird rotation. All right, I'm going to look at that hit again from his perspective, and we'll see how that looks. Ooh, one thing I want you guys to notice is the gaps that I talked about earlier. Another tip to notice this is that if you're sending two people going with the play, notice how Guy is accelerating the play and Alex is with him center. Now, I would argue that this is probably not the best position for Alex to be in because he's probably a little too far. You see how hard it is for Guy to get the ball this far over? This is a big pet peeve of mine because there's quite literally half of the field sideways that Guy has to hit the ball. Now, especially if somebody has no boost or little boost like Guy does, imagine if Guy had 0 boost. There is going to be no way, even with a perfect hit, that Alex is going to be able to get the ball in a timely manner, you know, in a diamond. And if your goal is to rank up, then definitely in a champ lobby. Alex definitely needs to be a lot closer. A good rule of thumb that I have is be about where the boost pads are if the ball is on the wall, pretty much at every single rank. This is a good starting point because then this allows you, you know, pretty much within this little parentheses sign of boost pads is really good to stay along when the ball is going out from your net along the wall, because then as you stay here, let's rewind and I'll show you. So if you stay here and then you come up right here, notice how Guy, all he has to do is get a slight hit. Even with 0 boost, this is going to be much more manageable. And then you can still, from this position, break. And if you're sitting right here, you can wait and see if he's going to get a touch. or not. And then if it goes short, you can still turn right. And then if it goes wide, you can still turn left and cut it off and then potentially still get a shot, or at least take ball possession towards their corner, you know, that kind of thing. Whereas if you are this far out, the only thing you can do is wait and be dead meat if it doesn't get to you, which is most likely not going to get to you. So please, if you're going to be second man in this position like Alex, you see how now it becomes awkward. Now he's not sure if he needs to fill into this play. That's because of that spacing that I mentioned before. So it's really important, and I think a big factor of the replay so far. So please, if you're second man, be a little bit closer to your teammate. For the most part, again, if the ball is on the wall, be near the parentheses sign of boost on either direction, left or right. All right. There we go. Forcing. Wow, Fox got a really good touch. There we go. Potentially a little too aggressive. That's fine. Nothing super crazy. There we go. Good positioning and good defense there. Okay, there was a demo. Not sure who that was, but good catch from Kyler. Okay. Yep, this is really good. I would say that if you are in this position and you can't see them, just simply jump and hold your single jump behind the ball and try to just get a good 50 instead of driving the ball into them. Because right now, with the ball behind your opponent, like, or ahead, like, you know, in between your opponent and you can't really see much. But if you hit the ball away from you, you're going to basically be handing them the ball, and you're basically serving yourself up, you know, on a silver platter. So instead, I'd rather you just slow the play down even more and then just single jump behind the ball and take a 50-50, or flip if you feel like it's necessary. Yep, good aerial. That was solid, actually. Grab the back boost, honestly. Not totally necessary, but, oh, nice try there. Overall, like, really solid, like, and efficient movement, I would say, on defense. That wasn't too bad, even though it was a little messy. I actually think that the jump to the backboard, you know, and the jumps to the backboard and the jumps off the wall are actually really, really clean. So I like that. Okay, here's where, again, the rotation is just really weird. There's nothing ever solid with Kyler's rotation so far. So what I mean by that is that you see how there's this lot of space right here. And when Alex gets the ball around his teammate, he's not sure if he should cut in forwards or not. And then he kind of just drives in front of where his teammate potentially could be. So you see how Guy could be doing this as well, where he grabs the boost. Now Guy could be coming up on this side of the field. Now he recognizes he's a little far behind, so he cuts in, but that's fine. Just recognize that from Kyler's perspective, he doesn't know where his teammate is at. That made me a little nervous of having ball cam on this much. I have not seen Kyler use his camera whatsoever. You see how Guy is turning off his ball cam sometimes, and Alex is trying to take a good 50. This entire time of this game, Kyler has not really ever turned ball cam off, like looking for rotations or hits or anything like that. Now, this should just be a single jump and front flip. Honestly, this should be a goal, but too strong on the single jumps. It's fine. Again, welcome to Diamond. Yep, single jump is fine. You did your work. Get out of there. Nice. Okay, you could be there if you wanted to go. Okay, that's what I'm talking about, where you see how the play is accelerating with Alex. You see how Alex is accelerating the play with boost. He's going to be hitting this really hard. Well, this is where you also have to be doing the exact same thing as your teammate most of the time. This isn't always a 100% truth, but if your teammate is boosting, you should probably be boosting as well, especially in this scenario where the ball is going to be hit off the corner, and then if you're not boosting with the play, the distance is going to be too much, and that's what I talked about with the spacing. The spacing was too much, and it was too big that it actually baited in Guy because he didn't know or think that Kyler was going to be able to get to the play. And by the time it got to that bounce and that angle, it baited in Guy. So, yep, now it's a double commit. And honestly, that should have been a goal right there, but it looks like from the timeline, there's going to be another shot. Again, unfortunate camera usage, trying to help out on defense a little too much rather than dropping back post. Again, see how there's a ball cam off scenario right as the shot is coming in. That is really bad. Again, poor camera usage, the worst kind, because it literally gets you scored on. There's also no attempt at a backflip or a side flip or a front flip or any other kind of flip to save the ball. It just is accepting defeat, and I hate to see that in any game. I hate people who give up and don't jump after the ball, so that irritates me, honestly. But let's keep going. Okay. Again, I think with shooting, it's probably going to be a little bit weak as far as flip capability. So this should have been a right flip. That's fine. You could have also front flipped, but you notice how he flipped too early. So I definitely think a lot of shooting practice is needed. If you just had patience, you honestly don't even need to boost at any level here anymore. You have enough speed as long as you stay underneath the ball and give it some pop. But because he jumps and flips, see how he's hitting the middle of the ball and he's flipping right, so it's basically going to go to the left. So there's not much of a threat there. But lost of an opportunity. Now again, notice how Kyler has no idea where his teammate is at, if he's back, if Kyler should go back post, or if he should cut in. Obviously, there's not a chance for comms, but in a higher level lobby, Kyler would do either of those two. You know, there would be a comm coming out probably from Kyler or from teammate, or preferably both. Or from Kyler to say, hey, I got it, or say, hey, you go for it, or, you know, any combination of that should happen. If not, there should be camera usage involved or chat used in the corner, and basically dictating and helping, knowing who's going for the ball, because right now we have no information to work off of. So makes it a little dangerous, potentially a double commit, but double commit from the other team. Looks like Guy sent that across the field. Again, notice how there's nobody with him. Alex is sort of in the area, but it's not quite where he needs to be. He needs to be center. It's good to be close, but then Alex kind of backs off. He realizes he's too close, and Kyler, again, because of the distance, thinks that this is going to be going too far for Alex, so therefore he goes. I don't necessarily blame him for being at this in diamond, but again, it's all because of the spacing, really. There you go. Alex keeping pressure. Good pressure there. Now again, notice here is a potential shooting opportunity. I'm not going to say this is perfect, but even with 40 boost, grab this boost and you have to be hauling ass, because now this is probably Kyler's ball. If anything, he could be threatening the play. But because nobody's there, now Guy has to take a 50. And now Kyler's a little awkward. Yep, good beat. But now they get the free breakaway. Silly jump by Alex. Good rotation into the play there. Maybe potentially watch out for a little bit of a front post rotation, but that's fine. Again, double commit by teammates. This is going to be interesting. I'm actually going to point out maybe one advanced thing here. Notice how Alex is on the right side, and he's basically on that side grabbing boost. So even if you don't get a shot, sitting right here, just jump straight up. And instead of backing up like he just did right there, if you stayed where he was, like just, you know, a little bit more to the left on screen, if you are able to single jump, aerial up, and then backflip, it'll basically send it over to the right side. It might not be perfect, but for a diamond level play, it might be enough to involve one of your teammates. If not, that's fine. You can at least stall the play and then hopefully keep the ball on this side of the field rather than jumping and taking yourself out of the play in the wrong position. So just something to note. It's an idea, a good way to cut in. Again, notice how awkward this is. This is already awkward rotation already. Here, they still almost score, even though you're trying to cover for your teammates. I'm going to go into Alex's POV to see how awful that was. So look at that. He's got two friends two teammates. Guy going for it, and then Kyler cuts in, grabs the boost potentially, then backs up, doesn't know when he's going to stop. Kyler does nothing, almost gets a shot on net. Now Kyler does nothing and has to make a save from that position, and luckily gets an easy shot towards his face to save it. But this slide in is totally unnecessary. Again, Alex is back, and Kyler grabbing the boost, doing a little Tokyo drift move, does absolutely nothing. So again, please guys, rotate back post. Kyler has a good aerial, but it's kind of moot at this point. I am totally surprised they did not score that. Okay, again, no need to really do all this driving. Maybe to grab that boost, that's fine. There you go. Nice. Good beat by Alex. Almost nice try there. Okay, so here's what I don't get is that if people have eyeballs and they're paying attention, know that Tacos is no longer on this ball and Guy is about to go for it, and he's flipping into it. And now obviously Fox, it's a little bit hit or miss if people are going to be able to follow up or if he's going to hit it to, an opponent who's going to be able to shoot it or whatever. But by this point, it's pretty obvious that nobody is going to be on this ball. Yet look at where Kyler is driving. He turned around and is facing his own net. He's facing the other way. Now he's just letting stuff happen. Rather than going up with Guy and going towards the play. I hate this kind of stuff. Now, obviously not every single play can be followed up like that. This happens at Grand Champ. This happens at SSL. But it just seems like a lack of, oomph. Lack of gumption, and it seems like somebody is really not paying attention, honestly, is what I see from this. Again, going up, double committing with your teammate, not good. Now you guys almost get scored on, got bailed out by the third man, which is really good. Good save. Again, cutting teammate off after grabbing boost. Rotation is awful. Guy feels like he has to go. Get up there, nice, good aerial. That's fine. Not really necessary to go for this, but that's fine. Hit that down. Good job. Good pass. I think the flip is probably also not necessary, but the flip could potentially stop you from hitting that ball, but that's fine. Again, you're not hitting this ball, so just grab the boost, cut your losses. If it goes up that high in Diamond, nobody's scoring this. So just grab your back boost and cut your losses. Like, stop aerialing like this. Okay, good kickoff strats. I like the cheat. That's really good. Alex has this all day. He's kind of jumping around in net, doing wave dashes, it looks like. He must have just learned that. Now these guys are double committing. These guys are obviously better than Kyler is, I think, in terms of mechanics. Decision making, probably not so much, but I don't think for this level it's going to matter a whole ton. Ooh, there we go. Again, flip control is a little bit iffy. The single jump is strong. I think had he flipped, it potentially could be going top right, but the single jump is strong with this one. Okay. Again, notice that the ball is rolling around on the wall, yet look at where Kyler is pointing like it's going to go left, but it doesn't, so a little bit of correction needed. He still would not have scored that even if he didn't get hit, so a little bit of a misread there. Yep, that's fine. Okay, so here's where, again, I'm talking spacing, where at a high level you have to really pay attention to what's going on. So you're not sure what's happening, if any of your teammates are going to be committing. So yes, this is a perfect position to be in where like you're facing backwards in case the ball gets lost behind you. But now that the guy gets bumped, you have to recognize that this is now your ball to go for, because you're going to be the one to turn on it, where if you back off, now look at Alex has to cover. There's that awkward spacing again that I'm talking about. So in Diamond, I think this is probably going to happen a lot, but something I've noticed with people that are not confident in their teammates is that this happens, and this will be ironed out over time. I know I mentioned this a lot, but I want to really point this out in this first replay because the spacing is everything, And I think it's probably causing a majority of the issues that are happening in the replay so far. So again, pointing it out, here it is. There you go. Yep, this is a good example of actually what being second man looks like. You see how as Alex is hitting the center, Kyler is slightly behind his teammate, but near the parentheses of the play on the same side of the field. Look at that. Imagine what I said earlier about being near that parentheses, right here to here. It's mainly just these four, honestly, is what I'm talking about within these lines. And as Alex is hitting that, then Kyler is in a perfect spot to aerial for it. So that is a good example of where to be. Again, same exact thing. Look at where Guy took off. Ball is near the wall. Gets 50'd. Now, pretending that's a pass from a teammate off the wall, right? The same kind of scenario. Look at where these guys are. Kyler and Guy are near the parentheses on the right side of the field. And look at that. Look at where the ball stays in. If the ball is on the right side of the field, most likely the ball is going to stay on the right side of the field. If you are center, like Fox is, he got a really good aerial because the guy did not have a good position or like a good aerial control there, but this is totally beatable from by Fox here. And statistically speaking, Fox should not be the one to be able to get to this because he's too far away. He jumped from midfield. But again, welcome to Diamond where things are not consistent. But in general, you can see how Guy or Kyler being able to jump from this side of the field is going to be able to beat him because it's literally right above their heads. So something to point out, even if it doesn't work out every single time. Yep, really good save. Guy has that. Double commit from teammates is really bad. Kyler has to go for it. Yep, really good flip to the left there. Good use of space. Don't really need to flip. There's no boost there. I know sometimes there's a replay glitch where it'll show that, but again, pointing out the spacing. Look at this. I'm actually going to point this out because this is so important. Look at this. Alex is going across the field, right like this. But look at, if you're positioned across the field and it doesn't go in that exact way, you're going to be hurting because now you're going to have to come back onto the side of the field. If you're in this position where your first man is going with the ball and say they're going down the line, what are the options that happen? Okay. First one is that, the teammate who has the ball, number one guy, gets beat and then it gets sent back down the line. That's option one. Option two is that it gets killed into the corner some way, right? Whether it's on the wall or on the ground, So number one is he gets beat. Number two is it stays in the corner. Option three is that it gets sent as a pass, right? Whether it's a pinch, center, or a pass off the backboard or around the corner like this, and then you're kind of near post. That's option three. Then option four is where it goes across. That's the option where you see Guy positioning. Now, notice how statistically speaking in option one, option two, and option three are all on this side of the field. The only option that this benefits the other guy across, literally named Guy right now, your teammate across the field, is if it gets sent across the field. That's 1 out of 4. So you have a 25% chance out of 100 to get the ball. So you can see how this doesn't work out if it doesn't produce a perfect pass. Now this is still scoreable if he took his time. He doesn't realize that this is still an open net. Because look at this, the ball was coming straight to him, but you see how awkward this is, and he doesn't know that, and he thinks he's got to have somebody challenging him. Well, guess what? No, this is actually just a free net, and he can't see that because it's so much harder coming from the right side. So, again, had he stayed with his teammate, this would have been fine. There you go, not bad. Okay, let's see how the dynamic duo happened. There we go. Okay, this is not perfect, but notice how, again, if you're close enough to the side that the play is happening on, you can still compensate, even if it goes across the field. This is still a decent touch. It's not the best, welcome to Diamond, and then this pinch is awful, but the idea is there, that you're still relevant, at least. That's the big thing. Okay, again, good back post rotation, but now look at this. Again, you're cutting in. Okay, so this point, yep, good rotation. Go back post, please. Again, this is a near post rotation again. You're not covering any of the left side of the field at all. If Taco happens to get this around Guy, now, and they get a shot off to the left side of the net, this is not being saved. Okay, now look at Kyler is almost upside down in the net as the play is progressing outside of his side of the field. Out of their side of the field. And again, this would not happen at the same level in, SSL, for example, where you are not paying attention to what's happening. Now you have two teammates going, but you need to keep the spacing proper and go up with them. You're absolutely not relevant to this play. Now look at how much space. This is, again, welcome to Diamond where you have a lot of space happening. Wow, good save by them. But I just want to point this out. The play is happening way downfield and you're still in net. That's it. Now, Guy gets a good force into Fox, who happens to roll it. This is a really good bounce and very fortunate. Again, even on the orange side of the field, if there was nobody look at that, Jay Cool is not pushing up with his teammate. And because of that, the spacing is awkward. And now you guys have a favorable bounce to go after it because the orange team did not have two people going for the ball. I know I'm mentioning a lot of the same things over and over, but trust me, I mean it. It's that important. So sorry, but you're going to have to listen to that. I'm really going to drill in these same ideas into the first game here, and then I'll go a lot faster through games 2 and 3. Okay, again, bad aerial control. This could have been just a straight jump. No need to really air roll, but just hit it. It potentially, depending on how you air roll a little bit, instead of being sideways, could hit this high, but it also could just be a shot. Could be crossbar down. So again, just hitting it with your wheels is just a little awkward. So yeah, not really much to say there, but really good save by orange team. Okay, again, notice how if Alex is going and Guy does not turn on this and there's no second man going with the play that just happened, now there's awkward spacing. This is now an open net. Look at that. If Kyler was able to haul ass and push up with his teammate when he needed to be, I'm going to kind of go on a rant for just a second, that in an ideal world, Guy should be dropping back as quickly as possible and Kyler should be on this ball. This could just be an end of the game. I'm cheating. Obviously, orange scores, so they lose this, but you can't always play ideal Rocket League. And if you play too safe, you lose opportunities like this. So I'm not saying to do this all the time, but I'm saying there are times when you need to play the position that you are going to be most opportunistic with. And if Alex hits this ball into the wall and it bounces back up and you haul ass with him because he is making that play as first man, if you haul ass as second man and to try to assist him, this is actually an open net. End of story. That's game. And that would show that you are being a good first man or a good second man or whatever position you're supposed to play. And Guy should be rotating back as third man because Alex went as first man when he decided. Now you are supporting him as second man. Now there is an argument to be made that if it gets scored on, it's because of you, because you knew that you were third man and you went. But I also like to make the argument that if you, don't go when you're needed, then you're losing a lot of opportunities as well. So it's a catch-22 there, obviously, but it is what it is. Yep. Good job there. Again, not really needed for the air roll here. I think you could probably just aim for the left side of the ball and hit this more center. Look at where Alex is. If you just get this towards the center, this would be a good first man, second man kind of play. The other option is to hit it off of the left corner there. If you aim and you're hitting it, again, it looks like he's hitting it on the left side of the ball towards the right. But because he air rolled, it literally just killed all momentum. This is now the second time this has happened when he aerialed in front of the net and just killed it, and then they saved it. So stop air rolling so much at the end. Not really needed. Either hit this hard like a man into the corner and pass to Alex, or hit it off the backboard and pass to Alex, or shoot it. Those are your 3 options. But now you're making it harder for Alex because now look at, he had to come from the center of the field over to the side. Now he can't get a good angle on it. So now all he's got to do is what you should have done. So now you just wasted a man and you wasted a move. If you think about it like checkers, you're wasted a move there, essentially. It's a turn-based game. It's like a JRPG, a turn-based game. Okay, again, not really your fault. There was a little bit of panic from teammates. Look at Alex jumping on the last couple things. Okay, now look at everybody panicking. Again, welcome to Diamond. Look at that guy jumping. Look at Kyler rotating and flipping into Alex almost. I'm surprised he didn't hit him. Look at that. They're almost colliding right here. Whoo! Alex is freaking out. Everybody's freaking out. Look at that. Double commit again. Okay, so if somebody just stops breaks the cycle, it's not helping. Okay, there we go. Good pass. Collect boost. Collect the ball, hopefully. Don't really need to jump yet. Look at you jumping. Almost got scored on. Okay, now you're like, F it, I'm not going to get scored on. Okay, now. But look at that. Nobody there for Guy. Nobody there. Look at, he's making his own play by himself. Can't do anything by himself. He has 0 boost. Look at that. You remember what I said about being on the parenthesis sign? Look at this. Look at where the ball is falling. Literally on the parenthesis sign on the field. What did I say? If somebody's there with him, at least he can jump. You make Fox jump. But instead, they're able to collect ball possession and start a really threatening play where now Alex, actually surprisingly has a really good challenge on the wall. That doesn't normally happen. But yeah, that's not a really advantageous spot to go for, because if Alex doesn't hit that ball, he's hard committed for a while. Now again, look at Kyler being so defensive, has to haul ass because the spacing is awkward. And look at this. Doesn't recognize how fast he's going. He's got to slow down. Just brake before you jump, my guy. And then just single jump up or double jump up in fast aerial and just hit it to the right. Try to hit it center. But no, nothing. Now look at rotating ball side again. Now if Guy wanted to go for this, because Alex is cutting the ball off, if Guy wanted to turn and go for the ball, that would be fine of him to do because they're trying to keep ball possession. But now look at Kyler's rotating ball side. That's stupid. Now, because of that, nobody wants to go. Now, the rotation's all awkward, and they're about to get scored on. Yep. Double commit, triple commit, nobody can hit it, and that's game. Again, welcome to Diamond. Had there have been one clean rotation in there, had Kyler not rotated ball side, that would have not happened. That would have been a good time to be just defensive and just rotate out and just say, F it, I'm not going to worry about it. But you see how, from Guy's perspective as well, if you play too defensive, when Alex cuts this off, you see what I mean about how if you don't play the position you're supposed to, in this instance, Guy should be going up because look at, Alex hit it around Tacos. Now, therefore, Tacos, okay, so check this out. So in a game of checkers, Kyler made his play. Tacos made his play. Now it's Alex or Guy's turn. It's one of the Blitz Blues' turn because they got Orange got rid of the ball. Alex makes his turn, then Tacos still commits. There's nobody on the other side going for their play, so their turn is skipped. If Guy turns on this ball and goes, then it's Blues' turn and they can potentially shoot. And then even if Guy turns and shoots this ball, then Kyler, with his momentum and boost, can turn around center and go for a backboard read, a double, or, whatever. That is still Blues' turn. But because nobody goes, look at the spacing. They literally gave up the chance to score and got scored on by all committing because nobody went. And this is why Rocket League is not an ideal game. You sometimes have to leave the net open. If you are third man, you still have to go. Sorry, guys, that's just how it is. I'm going to flex on you guys real quick for just 2 seconds to point out exactly what I'm saying is somewhat true. If I go to my career stats, I have a win percentage of over 74%. Okay? I know what I'm talking about. I have been playing this game since 2015, so please trust me when I say sometimes you just have to go. and recognize that that is the best thing for your team. Even though it, like, logically speaking, you might have to commit as third man and it might not seem like the best move at the time. So it is what it is. Okay, anyways, let's get through that. So that was game number 1. Let's delete that and let's go to game number 2 and watch this replay. Okay, so this is a ranked 3s match with myself, Josh, and Kyler. Now, Josh and Kyler are brothers. Kyler is, again, Diamond 1 level. Josh is, I believe, around Diamond 3 champ level. And myself, in 3s, I believe I'm about a champ 3 right now with no placements played. So this should be about a champ high champ level game. And then the last game we'll look at is Caution and myself being both GCs. Again, at this point during the early season, it was probably going to be slightly higher than this match, but I wanted to get the range here. So let's look at what a slightly higher level lobby looks like. Again, really good cheat. There we go. Good tip off into the corner. Okay, this is the one thing I hate, is that teammates who just go for the demo basically take themselves out the game a lot of the time, especially for somebody that doesn't know how to jump for the aerial, because it's pretty obvious at this point now with the double jump that I'm going to go for the aerial. So in order for me to have somebody get a demo on a player, they are also going to have to aerial with me. So the guy defending is going to have to aerial because I'm aerialing up for, like, you know, a ground to air dribble into the net. And then Kyler is also going to have to aerial. And that's going to be really, really hard for a diamond level player to hit a, you know, champ plus level player, almost GC, potentially GC level player in this play with 40 boost, mind you, at half field. So this is not the time to be going for a ground to air dribble. Just be patient, stay with the play, and watch it rather than looking at what the opponents are doing. This is my suggestion now as the one with the ball. Because now, had he just stayed center, he could have just waited with the play and shot this instead of Josh. And now the spacing's all off again. Now, obviously, everybody's a little bit faster, but there you go. Okay, no need to jump for that. It's totally okay to feel overwhelmed in a lobby like this, by the way. And one of my suggestions is to just call and say, I don't have it, because the more you jump and try to stay involved in a play, normally speaking, the worse off it's going to be in this scenario. When you are lost and you're a lower ranked player and you are just jumping, it's actually going to make it harder for myself and Josh to be able to read what's happening, because all we're going to see is you going up in there and seeing if you're going to hit it or not. So from Josh's perspective, actually, so I'm hitting it out, then they make their move. Again, in checkers, I made my move, Orange made their move, now it's our move. Now, if you're jumping in the middle of that, Josh is not incentivized to go. He sees Kyler up and is like, okay, I'm just going to back off, I'm going to rotate. But then I see that as I'm dropping back that they are going to jump up and make a play. So I recognize that since Josh or Kyler are not going for the ball and I see the guy behind me is about to make the shot, so I'm trying to cover and block the shot. So again, just trying the best we can. I was going to try to pass it back to them, but yeah, there you go. So it's better to just cut your losses in a lobby like this where you're not sure what to do. Just rotate back post and try to just be in the best position you can at all times. So again, being third man here, good position. That's fine. You could call for me to go or say, hey, I got it. Either one works. It's a little awkward decision making, but not the end of the world so far. This is really good. Yep, decent position. Okay, again, notice if you're front post and you're waiting for it and you jump at it, stop jumping, just break, stay still, and then aerial upwards. Again, if you are able to do what you need to in a simple manner, it doesn't need to be complex. That's all that's needed in a lobby like this. You can't expect anybody like a lower level to do anything else other than just get a touch when you intend to. And when you don't get touches when you intend to, that still messes up everybody else. So you see how when this happens, it's like, okay, that's fine. But now, because of that, the opponents recognize that you're not hitting the ball. And I recognize that they're about to hit the ball because they recognize that. So now I have to go for the save. And then have better mechanics to recover in the net. Whereas if you just make a touch when you intend to make a touch every time, you know, in situations like that when it's reasonable and you are able to make a touch, then that's all that's ever needed, honestly. So don't force yourself into hitting the ball when you feel like you have to, because you don't really have to touch the ball more than as much as you think you do, most likely. So again, if you recognize that I'm in net and you're not immediately going forward ahead of me, then just stay back. Don't even grab that boost. Do you see how awkward that was? Even just grabbing that boost. Now where Josh is, look at this. This is so awkward. Had you just stayed behind right here, just stay right here. Face the play right here. Don't face to the right. That's dumb. I've got the play covered for the most part. Just face where the ball is. Then all you have to do is just stay there, let me make my move, then watch the play, and then you make your move. That's it. Because look at this. I'm going to actually stay right here. Right here. Look at this. If it goes over me, look at that. Look how easy that is. You can drive up. You have leeway. You have a runway to drive up, hit this ball, and clear it. Look at that. Potentially over all three people. And a diamond level player can do that. That's all that's needed. Okay, I'm going to keep going. There we go. Nice try. Yep, good dodge of the demo. Good rotate. See, this is a good use of space. When you recognize that Josh went on his play, I've got the net covered right here on the backboard. I'm obviously not going to be able to get to this. So covering the space here is really good, actually. Even though you're not doing anything, you're driving up, intending to force the play. Now, this is what I was talking about at a higher level. When you are higher level, you're going to recognize and fill in space a lot better. Here's the difference. Is I was dodging the demo in the net. Then Josh makes his play. It doesn't matter what Josh's play is. I'm going to follow up on it, even if I don't want to. Now, obviously, if Josh just hands this to the other team, obviously I'm not going to just dive in at a 50 or something like that right now. Like if Banana gets the ball, I'm not just going to dive in at it because it's probably going to go around me. Or if Josh hits this up in the corner and Banana is obviously going to beat me, then I'll just play patient and wait for the shot in net, as an example, or go on backboard. But in a scenario where I potentially have a play on it, I'm immediately going to fill in space. So look at that. This is exactly the difference here. I'm going to go back so you can watch the little bit of self-glaze here. Back up. Now look at, this is potentially not a play I really want to go for, but I'm doing it anyways because I'm a good second man. And I recognize the importance of that because I can beat the other team. Now, it doesn't matter if I get their boost or not because I'm now forcing two people and I'm forcing them to grab their boost in a manner they didn't really want to. So now look at that. I'm forcing them to bump heads even though I've got zero boost. I'm not even committing at the play whatsoever. I'm just forcing them to do something and cutting my losses. So that's what a high level like use of space is compared to the last game that we watched. So there we go. All right, so I'm going to watch this back from Collar's POV for a little bit. So again, notice how Josh fills in space. We don't quite get it. That's fine. I don't quite get it. That's fine. Again, not everything has to be perfect. Look at that. Awesome use of space. Awesome use of time, everything. The jump is a little, wow. Jump is a little risky, but little wishful thinking, but that's actually not too bad. Nice try. I think they had a couple good, like, bumps. Yeah, I had to jump as well. Josh had to jump. Good use of space by them and good use of cars. Okay, not the best kickoff. Honestly, I would love to teach Kyler how to do a losing kickoff as well. So in this scenario, what you would do is drive to the left side of the ball. So you'd front flip here. And and then boost, and then you'd drive along the left side of the ball, and then you'd flip to the right, because then that allows the ball to go along like the side of your car here, right here. And then if you're on this side and you flip, it's actually going to guide the ball, you know, along the length of your car and go into the corner this way. So that's a losing kickoff. I would highly recommend that. In this scenario where I'm cheating up and Josh, it looks like, is going left, then you want to do the same thing, but just face the other way and flip left, you know, so that way it goes into this corner. Because, yeah, kickoffs like this just suck, honestly, no matter who you are. And we just lost that. So I want to see if I do anything special here. Nope. So even something like that, just flipping towards the same side that your teammate is on, because I know that like somebody's cheating and somebody's going to be on my right, that if I go towards the middle of the ball and I flip right, I'm still going to put it in the area where my teammates are at. And that's super important. That's just one thing to note, that if you can do that and you can push it on the same side of the field as your teammates, it's probably going to be a better scenario more times than not. Okay, again, good cheat by Kyler. I think his cheats have so far been fine. Okay. Again, not bad on his positioning so far. I think a lot of the difference here is people able to fill in for space. So the last 30 seconds, notice how he hits it up or it gets beat towards our backboard, and then Josh makes his move. Now somebody has to go on this ball and has to hit it, right? Because you can't just let the ball play out as it is, because then they're just going to read it and shoot, because nobody's changing the play. Nobody's forcing it into a different direction. And because of that, I recognize that as Kyler's dropping back, as the ball is going by him, there's going to be a gap there. There's that space where if I fill that in, then we can take control. This is what I mentioned before when they lost the last game. This exact scenario happened before in the last game, and now instead I'm the one filling in space here. Okay, no problem here. Again, look at this. Kyler is the closest one to the ball, yet instead of doing anything, Josh is the one to fill in space. Now this is fine, but Josh gets rid of the ball, and now as Josh is ready to go up, I'm ready to be second man. Again, notice how I'm filling in as second man positioning in case this goes off the sidewall and then back out. That would be a more appropriate play to make rather than just hitting it up, obviously. But now look at the timing. I'm going with Josh already, whereas now as the other guy's hitting it, Kyler is only now just facing the play, ready to go with the play, with us. But it's already half a play too late. So now he's got to haul ass back, and we're just getting shot on. So it's just a little slow, and you can see the speed difference there. Obviously, I'm not going to be blaming Kyler or anything like that. It was obviously a poor hit from Josh, and I played a risky second man. I could have played back. But, again, the game is not perfect. So it is what it is. Woo! Again, not the greatest kickoff from us. It's interesting watching it from this POV where I noticed that there was nobody on that ball. And then somehow I hit that other guy off of off of the ball. And then really good aerial. See, that was a good use of air roll. That little bit of air roll left here. That was really good. Hit the nose down, air roll left. Boom. Left side of the net. That's in. That's awesome. Okay, so in this scenario, normally speaking, the person in net, being Kyler, would go to the left corner boost, and I would lose the kickoff. I think because of the people that I was playing with, I was not in the mood or in the mindset to do normal, quote-unquote, normal kickoffs that I would do. But this would be potentially something that all three of us would have to work on if we were to play together, is learning a kickoff strategy. So something to note here, that I would go for kickoff, lose it left, Kyler would go for the left boost, and then Josh would cheat up a little bit. So I want to see, did that actually happen? Yes, actually. So I was in a standard kickoff. I could have just been brain dead for a minute. But you can see how I jump and I almost go past the ball, but I let it roll along the left side of my car there on the the top part, but like the left side, where I'm flipping it left, and that forces it to go into that side. If Kyler grabbed that back boost and Josh was beat on the cheat, then Kyler would have it. Okay. Again, good job on slowing the ball down instead of just hitting it away. So now look at that. Not asking for much. Just hit it when you intend to hit it. That's it. Really good. Okay. I want to notice something. I want you guys to notice something. One more time. I promise I'm not going to go over it as much as in the last replay. But notice how when I am on the left side, look at where Josh is. He's on the left side. He's not totally mid. He's kind of halfway between the wall here and midfield. So this is good. See how he can still turn left. If he was here, this would be much harder and Star could potentially get the ball because he's way farther away. So because he's positioned here near the parentheses sign, he can cut in and go. Was I going for a psycho or a rebound on our own net? I'm crazy like that sometimes. Man, I just got murdered in front of everybody's eyes. Woo! We're really cutting it close, aren't we? Okay. Yep. I think I'm just gathering my bearings. So is Kyler. Really good shot by Josh there. Okay. Again, here is where Kyler has a really good catch on the ball. He's actually done a really good job on this, surprisingly. He has a really good catch, but instead of just taking a 50-50, he's going to hit the ball into his opponent. Same thing as before. See how he touches it right before the 50-50? Instead of just jumping, slowing the play down even more and getting behind the ball, he's going to hit it into his opponent and force himself to lose. And even I can't salvage that kind of play. Oof. There we go. Good job by Josh to fill in there. Yep, good read. Again, not really needing to do a whole ton here. I would say, if anything, just slow down. Just stay back post. Because you risk hitting me in the front post. So no need to stay with this play a whole ton. Even though it might seem chaotic, let your teammates do their thing. And then see how Josh wonders if he has to cut in or not. He recognizes, nope, Kyler's there. Let's let him do his thing. Great 50. Let's go. Yep, there we go. Good 50 again. Now, Josh and I did not need to double commit, and I think we got scored on because of it. Oof, that was a really good shot by that guy. I want to watch that from his POV. This is Banana. Yeah, really good shot. Okay, again, notice how after the kickoff, Banana is a good second man and rushes at it. I actually would not mind occasionally if Kyler was the one to just haul ass after it and just jump at the ball. Even though he's probably going to lose and it's not going to help much, I think it's worth it because it shows that you're going to be a good second man and you're going to follow up after a ball. So even though this is lost, this is now on our side of the field. You don't want to give them a free shot because I'm not going to be able to, have a good challenge on this ball. Josh is not either because it's going to go over him. And if he does, Josh should just be going for the boost, ideally, right? And then Kyler, being the second man, should be matching what Banana is doing as second man. Essentially, we're just going to match the other team. So I would not have minded if Kyler went on that play. I got a really good beat. Notice how, again, as I'm going with the play and I'm hitting it around, notice how Kyler is actually backing up as I'm hitting the ball. So now I'm accelerating the play down the field, yet look at this. Now I have cleared half of the field by the time anybody is even staying with me. So again, noticing the spacing there. Now, I have nobody to pass to because everybody's behind me. Now, and this might seem a little nitpicky, but look at this. On the boost paths, the parentheses, that's what I mentioned before. We are perfect. We're golden. The play stops here and slows down for just a second, right? So then as I hit it around, look at this. Look at, you're going from left to right, or right to left, sorry, right to left. Going too far to the left now. Instead of being near post, you went across, now you have to hook it back. This is the same thing as before. If you stay on the same side of the field, it's going to be way easier to read rather than hooking it back around. Every time. Now look at this. Look at Josh is now going to be the one hitting it into the field because now he's the one in the triangle going, doing the circle. Now look at this. He's going. I'm trying to see what they're going to do. And look at Kyler's driving in my way. If I wanted to go this way, I can't. He's there. I'm also reading the play, so I was probably reading, whatever they were doing if they were going to hit it. But if they get a touch this way, now I have to go and cross paths with Kyler. So Kyler, get the hell out the way, go that way, and grab boost, essentially. Get out the way. Ooh, we should have had that. Okay, this is a good fill-in, and we almost had it. Okay, look at this. Do you see how dumb this was? I actually just noticed this. Look at me jumping. I actually didn't think that they were going to be able to get to that. Look at, I'm committing as third man. This is the dumbest thing ever. I'm a GC1, GC2 player peak. This is dumb. But yet, I'm going because my ideal, my mindset is going when you need to go. Now, obviously, we are down 1-4. So if this was a ranked game and this was close, I probably would not be doing this. Again, mind you, I'm playing with people lower rank, and we're not winning this game. That's fine. I'm just going just in case they miss the ball because that is my play style. And I do think that if you are not there when you need to be, then that's a big sin rather than like kind of going when you shouldn't, if that makes sense. That the risk of going when you shouldn't is a lot lower than you would think because even in this scenario where I commit, they still don't score off of that. I steal their boost. Or our boost from them. We get a bad 50. I should say good 50. And I almost score. Oh, I did score. Nice. Look at that. So even in that scenario where I went as third man, it doesn't always result in a goal, as bad as you would think. So something to note, just comparing the differences between second man and what the positioning looks like. So that was really good there. Then let's look at, so that was the 2-4. So let's look at the top one. This should be the match with Caution and I. So this should be a little bit more high level. We will watch this again from Kyler's POV. Again, good cheat by Kyler there. Grab boost, not bad. I saved the ball. Again, not bad. This is actually not too bad from Kyler to just kind of collect his bearings in net. I noticed that there was, I'm just going to kind of point out some of the high level mechanics here, but I'm grabbing the boost pad while covering the net. And then most people, what they would do here is jump and front flip. But instead, what a good high level player would do, not super duper high level, mind you. I'm like GC1, so take it for what it's worth. But I'm going to make my car as big as I can by making myself a brick wall and going sideways by going left and also air rolling. So I make my hitbox as big as I can as I'm challenging. And I recognize that it's going behind me a little bit. So the only way for me to try to stay towards the ball is to backflip because my rear end is facing this way. So the only way for me to do anything remotely this way is to backflip. So that's what I did here. It might look a little silly, but that is why I am doing the things I'm doing here. So I was trying to hopefully catch it as I nick it towards the corner. Okay. Yep, not bad. Ooh, not the best challenge, but that's fine. Again, good recovery. Oof. It's fine. Again, you don't need to do what you need to do all the time is what you think. Okay, good positioning on the parentheses sign of the boost. That was really good. See how you're still relevant to the play? Perfect. Okay, again, good positioning. Not sure what this is. This is crazy. Almost as crazy as me hitting that straight into that guy. What is up with the air roll and the super light touches? Just hitting it with your wheels all the time, man. Just stop twisting your car that much. Okay, hit this back, please. Yep, good job. That's unfortunate. That is so unfortunate. I think I remember that. This is where speed flipping could be handy because instead of front flipping like this, you would just or just flip left, to be honest. Like just hit it forwards, but then get the hell out the way rather than front flipping. See how you stay with the ball and now you're landing ball side? I just couldn't compensate. That sucks. Okay. Going on the wall is a little risky because now you're eliminating your positions of what you can cover if you're not good. Wow, really good passing play. Holy cow. That's actually unexpected. Because again, if that goes off of the wall in any way, then none of us are saving that. But fortunate that we stayed with this. Yeah, that actually looks really more high level with the flip he did. That was actually really good. And a good, obviously a good redirect by caution there. Okay, again, I don't mind that. Being a good second man, hitting the ball when you need to. Oof, almost hitting teammate again. Okay, this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. This is why you can't be too far center. I don't know if I'm going to get dunked, so I'm not flipping on the ball. If I flip, I'm going to be hitting it into my opponent. So I have to delay that as much as I can to keep it down, like to keep the ball low. Because I do that, I can't get as much power. But you see how caution is positioned in a way that he's too far from me. He's literally in the midfield. This is what I'm talking about. If he stayed right here, look at that. It's coming right across his forehead. Windshield wiper, bro. Hit that shit. This is shootable. Top right. This is where you should be. But look at, too far away. Now you cut off the angle. Again, now what happens here? Oh, they had just a really good rip on net. See, even that, nothing you can really do. I don't even think a Diamond 1 should be able to do anything there. Like, that's just unfortunate. But it was our fault earlier because we killed ourselves. Good kickoff, actually. Ooh, not bad. Again, if you're in an awkward spot, just go for the ball or don't. Don't hesitate and then do stuff like this because now it makes me hesitate. Now I'm doing the same exact thing as you because I'm mirroring you. So if you go and just dive at it and miss, that's fine because I'm still reading the play. But if you go in half-cocked and you hesitate and you make awkward stuff like this happen, now we are in an awkward, like, 1v2 situation. Now I have to kind of compensate a little bit. Unfortunate 50. We have not been doing great on our defensive 50s today. Okay, I'm actually going to point this out as well because I remember this happening. So, you remember how I said that like sometimes you don't need to do anything more than just your positioning? Even for me, I'm waiting for this and notice how I stop and jump straight up. I'm not diving forwards anymore. This is going to be very subtle, but I'm going to play this at 50%. So I'm driving forward and then I'm going to stop. Power slide, wait for the shot, recognize it's not going to come in top left or top right. So I drive. Look at, I stop right before I jump, right here. Air roll, Minimal boost usage. The smallest amount of boost usage you've ever seen in your life. Little Trump impression. Whatever. I'm doing the most that I can with as little boost as I can, and that's all I ever needed to do. They beat us because we tried to play second man, and damn, that guy had a really good shot. But not much that we could do. We were in a losing scenario there. Look at that. They were a better second man than we were, and we committed on the play a little too early, or a little too late. So that's why, rather than just staying back in net or being quicker. I'm so surprised that guy went for that. I still remember that. Okay. Again, this is an awkward position to be in where I'm not expecting Kyler to be able to hit this back to us because this is not really a passing position, to be honest, unless he calls this. If you're up for an aerial like this, it's probably just better to like hit this back to the corner, to be honest, because none of us are ready to turn on this yet. And now the spacing is awkward where we have to cover for it. So instead of hitting that out to the center, it's basically just hit it to the corner. Again, not the best 50, but it's fine. I think we got scored on here. No, we didn't. Nice, good save. Nice try from caution. There we go. Jump after it. That's fine. They almost own gold. Caution almost had it. Almost. You can go for that. Yep. Nice try. Jump off the wall right away. Don't go backwards. That's fine. Nice. Okay. This is where you could take the boost and just piss off. Or take the boost and go up the corner right here. Go up the wall. If you stop and then go up the wall, you can actually time this and clear this. This is an option. That touch is totally unnecessary, though. It's basically just giving up the ball. Oh, almost. Double jump aerial. Woo, close. I almost want to see how close I was on that. That's crazy. In my peak. Oh, I was hit off the ball. Dang. In my peak, I still would have hit it. Okay, again, look at this. The play is happening. Now look at Kyler is driving away from the play as it's happening. Stop that. Like, you don't need to preserve speed that much. Just stay where you are, turn around, and then drive forwards. That's all that's needed. You have 87 boost. Use it. This is the time to use it to accelerate from a stopped position where you should be rather than trying to drive back. Because now, even from here, you do not have a shot. Okay? If you drive around, look at this. Right here, recognize, oh shit, caution has the ball. I'm going to turn around on the line. If I turn around here, my mouse DPI is super low. So if I turn around and then boost, you know, in a timely manner where you're paying attention, you can drive up after this. You know, right here, flip, grab the boost, turn around, boost, boom, and then you jump up for this aerial. This could potentially be a shot, but probably not. But at least you have a much better 50 rather than just being beat. Yep, good challenge. Really good challenge. Yep, good little aerial there. Grab the boost or the ball. Oh, unfortunate. See, this is what I'm talking about, where if third man is playing where he should be, this is an actual easy position, but instead caution is dropping back because this is now a goal if he is positioned where he needs to be in center. So this is what I mean by Rocket League not being an ideal game, is that if you play it according to, no offense, this is going to be the most egotistical thing ever, but if you play at this level, champ, or, you know, even GC1 or below, if you play according to my play style and my thought process, you will win more games, period. I guarantee I have a higher winner percentage at this level than anybody would watch this video. So if you're positioned where you should be, then this is just a goal. because you're center and it's a free shot. Good dodge of the demo. Good touch there too. That is so unfortunate. So caution beat the other guy. I had to watch out for the demo, then he gets murked. Unfortunate. Okay, so I go for kickoff. It looks like I win. Honestly, this is even fine. Hey, look at that. Yep, that's fine. Good job. Okay. See how quickly I fill in space as second man? I recognize I'm too far away, so I'm cutting in really quickly. I'm going to take the ball. Nice try. Caution should be a lot quicker. This is super easy. This is not that complicated. Okay, I lose that. Stop hesitating. Don't turn around. Just go for the ball. Already too late. That one little twitch is already what lost us that challenge. Okay, let's see what happens. I remember this. Just not paying attention. Honestly, just driving too fast. Same as before, like when you aerial underneath the ball, it's the same thing. You're just going too fast. Nice aerial. But GG's. Hopefully that was helpful for anybody who watched. Hopefully it's helpful for Kyler if he watches this. I appreciate everybody who watches these still. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one. See ya.